Hey, what's up everyone? Skyler Thomas here. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you what I consider to be the secret tool for creating a ton of different awesome text animations in After Effects. I see it used by a lot of motion graphic artists, and I see it used in a lot of motion graphics templates. So I'm going to be showing you that today, and I think you're going to get a lot out of it. Now before we get started in After Effects, I just want to say I started a Patreon account. If you want to and are able to support my channel, if you pledge $5 a month or more, what you'll be getting is the actual project files for all the tutorials that I'm doing from here on out, including this one. So if you want to actually get into the project file in After Effects, see how everything is done, including a few different text animations that I'm going to add in as a bonus, hop into that Patreon link in the description, support my channel. I truly appreciate all the help I can get in continuing to create all this kind of content. So let's hop in After Effects and I'm going to show you how to do it. So the secret tool that I use for these kind of animations is this. This is an expression code. So before you get too intimidated and think this might be too complicated or too difficult for you to be able to understand, just know that I do not know all the code behind this. I did not write this. What I end up doing is I go on Google and I search for different expressions and different scripts for After Effects all the time just to see if I can find anything that was written by somebody else that I can use in my arsenal. And this happens to be one of them. The only thing you really need to know about is the delay, the frequency, the amplitude, and decay. And I'm going to explain all of this and make sure you know how to use this. It's very easy, so don't feel intimidated by this kind of code. But if you don't know what an expression is essentially After Effects allows you to write code to help manipulate some of the animation properties that you can use with text and shapes and footage and all that. And it's super helpful, and it's great that After Effects, it really gives you a lot of leeway in how you're using animations within these kind of programs. So let's get this out of the way. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a new composition. 1920 by 1080 is great. I'm just going to call this new text. And there we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to our text tool and we're just going to create some new text. So we're just going to fun new text. I'm going to go to my align tool and just kind of get it all centered. If you don't see your align tool, just go to window, go to align. And you've got your text right here. Change the font, make it look however you want it to look. That doesn't really matter. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to go to our drop down. We're going to go into text. And we're going to go to this animate right here. And we're going to click into that. And we're just going to pick a property. Now we can pick whatever we want. I'm just going to pick position for now. Because what this is going to do is it's going to create an animator. So with this animator right here, we're going to go to Add, Selector, and Expression. And this is where we're going to put our expression for this particular set of code that we have. So we're going to go into Expression Selector, and we're going to click on the amount. So in order to add an expression, you're going to either click Alt in the stopwatch or Option in the stopwatch. Alt in the stopwatch is for PCs, Option is for the Mac users out there. So let's click into that. And you're going to see this little area pop up that's going to allow us to paste in some code. So now we're going to go into our expression code, highlight it all, go to copy that. I'm going to get this out of the way. And you're going to find this actually, this is going to be in the description to the video. You can just copy and paste it from there. Now we're going to go in here and we're going to paste that. So now we're going to see this expression is right there. And basically what this expression does is it takes any property that we can add to this and it's going to animate it into this end position that we have right here. So for me to actually show how this works, I added this position property earlier. And what I can do is I can just bring it down. And what this is going to do is using this line of code, it's going to animate character by character back into that position. And it's going to go character by character because we have characters selected. You can change that so that it excludes the spaces in between, or it just goes word by word, or the whole line. I'm going to keep it at characters, and we're going to play through, and you're going to see what I mean. It's going to be fun. It goes right there. And we can change the other property. And it's going to start over here. And it's going to go back into that position. So now I'm going to explain to you what you need to know from this line to be able to manipulate how this animation occurs. So we're going to start with delay. Delay is basically saying how long in between each character being animated, or how long in between each word being animated, depending on what you have selected. Right now I have 0.1 seconds selected. So if I were to change this to 0.5 seconds, you're going to see that each character is going to be animated up in 0.5 second increments. It's going to be a lot slower. But I kind of like it to be faster, so I'm going to change that back to 0.1. The other areas that you can manipulate is where it says frequency, amplitude, and decay. All right, so the first thing I'm going to cover is the frequency. And the frequency is saying how many times is this animation going to occur. Right now we have 0.5. So it's taking in all of the factors and it's only going to be going through them 0.5 times, so a half of a time. But if we were to change this to 2, you're going to see that this animation occurs twice. If we were to change this to, say, 5 times, you're going to see this animation bounces back and forth 5 times. I like to keep it around 0.5 to 1. I think that looks the most fun to me. All right, so now we're going to look at amplitude. Amplitude is how far past, with how much power is this animation going to occur that it actually goes past the end point and kind of zooms back and forth until it gets into position. So we've got it set at 300 right now, but if we were to set it at, let's say 800, it's really going to bounce past. If we set it to, say, 50, it's hardly going to go up at all. It's not going to have a lot of power and amplitude to it. And now with decay, I'm actually going to set the amplitude back to maybe 300. So I can really kind of show you how the decay works. The decay is the third property that you want to understand and know how to manipulate. So decay is basically saying how quickly is it going to get into this end position? How long is the actual animation going to last before it just settles into place? Right now it's set at 5, but if I were to go to, say, 10, it's going to settle back into that position much faster. There isn't a lot happening with the amplitude. It kind of knocks out all the other factors. But you can see if we were to lower it to 1, it's going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth into place until it finally settles into its final position. So that's how decay really works, and that's how you can get a lot of like real kind of wavy movements out of the text by understanding that the decay is the property that you want to be manipulating there. I'm going to set it back at 5 because I kind of like the way it looks there, where it just kind of pushes back and then settles into place. All right, so now that we understand the different properties of the expression that we can manipulate, now we can show you the different properties within After Effects that we can add to this and manipulate as well. So let's go over to our animator 1, and the only one that we have set right now is position. Well, we're going to want to set maybe a few different a few other properties. Maybe we want to change the scale and have the scale start really kind of small. So now you're going to see that our text is a lot smaller as it begins, but it's going to grow back into that original position, just like that. We can go to Add Property, and we can add our rotation. So now it's going to start small down to the right and bottom, and we're going to just animate it over this way so that it actually rotates in just like that. Perhaps we want to add another property. Perhaps we want to have a blur come in. So it'll start off with all these different properties, but now we're going to add a blur. And it's going to come back into clarity from that blur. Perhaps we want to add a fill color. We want it to be red to begin with. There's just a number of different ways that you can create fun new text animations very quickly using this script. And you know, that's going to look very differently, let's say, if we change the decay to 0.2 or just to 2. It's going to take all those properties and it's going to kind of fade them in and out in just the same way. The real thing you need to know about this is that you need to play around with the properties. You need to play around with the different properties that you add to this, and you can come up with all sorts of unique animations that have never been seen before. All right, guys, that's the video. That is how you do it. Like I said, super quick, super easy, super fun. This is the secret tool. I hope you guys got something out of this and kind of have a better understanding of how to use expressions at this point, and in particular, this particular tool for creating awesome text animations. As always, I'm creating a lot more content. Please subscribe, like, and share if you got something out of this. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. All right, peace.